On Friday, March 14th, the Black Dahlia Murder came to the Mad Hatter in Covington, and I had an opportunity to meet with Shannon Lucas and talk about their new album, Nocturnal. Now, did you have a part in the writing process of the new record, Nocturnal?
Yeah. Well, when I joined, they hadn't had a drummer, so they weren't doing very much. I mean, They had like a skeleton of one or two songs maybe. So
okay.
I was there for pretty much everything.
So, do you think, what I'm wondering, since Nocturnal is more like classic, straight-up death metal, style, more than Miasma was, do you feel that maybe you had some part in that, or?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I think most of that has to do with everybody. I mean, I think everybody had progressed, and, Miasma was a little more of experimental for the guys. They were still pretty young, and things were going well for them, and it just was happening really fast, and I think Nocturnal was just a good sign of everybody's maturity, and Brian is a writing machine, and he's like a genius in a way, a weird genius, and I think a lot of it was what Brian was writing, and I think everybody had the same idea, going for the same direction, So when I joined and was immediately saw what route they were trying to take, it worked out really well.
Yeah, it definitely sounded like it came together well. Yeah. I mean, with everyone having the same goal in mind, definitely a great record. I also have heard that you guys, after you play here, you're headed up north to shoot a new video.
Well, yeah, we do. We have like 2 more shows left on this little run.
Yeah.
And then in about a week, we'll be heading to New York and shooting a new video, which I'm pretty excited about because we've shot a lot of videos that were like, kind of silly tour live videos, which people really enjoy, but you can only do so many of them, to where we want to put out something that's, legit and kind of badass.
So you guys are going with a little bit more production on this one? Oh
yeah, definitely. We're a little more acting on our behalf,
Oh, really?
Instead of just, running around like fools. Actually have to do stuff. Which I think it's going to be really badass. I'm pretty stoked on it.
Cool. Sounds great. Now, what would you say is your favorite starstruck moment when it came to playing with different bands? What band that you've played with have you really been like, wow? Like,
it's usually a drummer that I get somewhat starstruck about. I mean, bands, I think we played with Suffocation in Europe, and that was my first time playing a show with Suffocation. It was at a festival, actually, and we played right before them. And for me, that was kind of like, pretty surreal. The first show I played with them was at, Metal Fest in 2007. And we played right before Cannibal Corpse.
Wow.
And that, for me, like, they had toured with Cannibal before.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, it's a band that I grew up, listening to and idolizing and stuff. And, to finally get to play a show with those guys. And then we ended up touring with them, for 5 weeks after that. But I think for me, that was like a big moment, where I was just kind of like, wow, All the Remains would have never done a tour with Cannibal, So all these bands that I really love, I would never get to tour with. But there's definitely been some drummers that I've met along the way that I'm, watch me at a show and I get real nervous, I'm like, oh God, he's watching me, But
which drummers in particular would you say?
Let's see. Well, I really like John Longstreth. I mean, we met a long time ago, and we know each other a little bit. And, he's one that he's seen me before, and it kind of made me nervous.
Yeah.
Dave Haley from Psychroptic.
Ooh.
He's just the sickest drummer, and he watched me from side stage in Australia, and I got really nervous. I got nervous the first time I played in front of Gene Hoglan.
Yeah.
But then I toured with him for like 2 months.
Wow.
2.5 months almost, and he's seen me play a ton of times now, so it's not so bad. But
so is it a neat experience, getting to really know these guys, depth on tour?
Absolutely. It's super cool because, I have friends back home that, that think it's, the neatest thing. Oh, you know that guy? I'm like, well, we've played shows together. It's cool, It's a good experience. I mean, I think most of what people learn about playing music and touring and I think a lot of that pretty much comes from touring and,
Yeah.
seeing other guys and taking notes, like I learned so much through touring, about drumming, just from watching other guys that have done it longer.
Yeah.
So.
Cool, man. What would you say is your favorite song to play?
My favorite song to play? I think maybe A Vulgar Picture.
Really?
That was the first song I ever learned all the way through. Like, that was the song I auditioned for the band with. Solo, too. They stood around and watched me.
Wow.
They kind of, with arms crossed, and I'm like,
Intimidating.
here I go.
Yeah.
So probably that one. I mean, it's a pretty rad song, some cool parts. So.
Yeah, definitely. What plans do you guys have for touring this summer?
Oh, we got a lot of stuff lined up. I mean, there's going to Puerto Rico, going to South America for a few days at the end of the month. There's probably some more secondaries, probably some European dates, maybe some European festivals, maybe something big.
Wow.
Well, it's now announced we're doing Summer Slaughter. We're headlining the Summer Slaughter tour this year, so I'm super stoked. I mean, playing with some of the best drummers and bands, in death metal right now, so that's going to be really intense.
Any hopes of us in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky being able to see you guys coming up?
I haven't seen the routing
Yeah.
for Summer Slaughter, but I mean, I'm hoping. I think it's a little over a month, so I'm hoping that it'll hit somewhere close by.
Well, cool, man. I mean, we'd absolutely love to have you guys back, man. I'd like to thank you for your time.
Dude, thank you very much.
Not a problem.